Hello and welcome to Surveyor Says, the podcast from the National Society of Professional Surveyors. Each week, we bring you fascinating guests that are involved in the profession of surveying. We cover a lot of ground, including Table Lay Talk with Gary Kent, Point of Order with the NSPS Joint Government Affairs Team, Future Focus, highlighting current and future leaders of the profession, and everything survey-related in between. Thanks for joining us here on the podcast, and hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of Surveyor Says. Hello and welcome to another episode of Surveyor Says. This is your host, Tim Burch, and we are on the road. This week, we're coming from Essen, Germany. We've had a lot of stuff going on. We're a little late this week getting some things together, but things have been really busy around the world of surveying. So thought we would drop back and give you a little recap on what's been going on. First up, let's talk about the NSPS Fall Business Meetings from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Back in 2019, in what now seems to be somewhat of a bygone era, NSPS had established a contract with the Tulsa Marriott to hold our fall business meetings for the fall of 2020. Well, spoiler alert, for those who weren't aware of what's happened in the last couple of years, don't go back and look it up. It's not pretty. But bottom line is that we were able to fulfill our contractual obligation this past week in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and holding our fall business meetings of 2022. In conjunction with that, we were also able to hold our annual PAC golf outing at La Fortune Park with a pretty good little turnout. Was able to raise some money and have some fun. But as far as the meetings go, the space was quite nice, well laid out. Meeting space was well organized. Getting there was a little bit tricky for most people trying to fly directly into Tulsa, but I don't think it held a candle to myself, Trish, and Sarah from the NSPS staff, who loaded a van and we hauled all the stuff from Frederick, Maryland to Tulsa, 18 hours over a couple of days. We did make it unscathed. Nobody killed each other. Nobody tied anybody to the top of the van for the ride in. So we were able to get by, but bottom line, there was a lot of great meetings, great committee interaction, a lot of new goals established simply because we were really engaged this time with people wanting to be in person, some new faces that were helping drive some of that motivation together. So bottom line is, I think we've got some good motivating topics and ideas coming out of there. A couple of things include the Boy Scouts Committee, which actually formerly Boy Scouts Committee. It's now the Scouting Committee, which now includes both Scouts, which is Boys and Girl Scouts, and the Girl Scouts, and any other type of civic kid-based organizations that we may get involved with. So bottom line is that that committee is reinvigorated, really has some great new charge. Dave Collier out of New Hampshire is leading that charge as the chair, and looking forward to some great stuff with them. They're actually working with the Scouting Council of America to revise the Scouting Merit Badge for the Jamboree for next year. We've got our fingers crossed that something that can get done. So we'll see how that goes. But another interesting and good result from the meeting was the reestablishment of a national certified floodplain surveyors test, training and test. Bart Craddy from Tennessee is leading that charge. There's already a program established for studying and testing in North Carolina, Tennessee, and New Jersey. But they're getting ready to have a big multi-state test up in Massachusetts in a couple of weeks. Going to be more of a regional type of a situation, and really going to set the tone for being able to establish and proctor a certified floodplain surveyor's exam going forward. It's something that's critically needed with all of the changes in the FEMA mapping that have gone on the last few years. And it really speaks to the expertise of what surveyors do. So we're looking forward to that committee being very, very active and really putting something together going forward that other states can then take that template. They can run with it. NSPS is going to be basically as an overseer and trying to help establish a numbering system for the certifications and really kind of a program administrator as such. So pay close attention. I think there's going to be some good things coming out of that soon. A couple other good things that came out of the fall business meeting. Some things that the office were able to introduce coming up in the next few weeks and months. We're actually basically reinventing what used to be the ACSM bulletin. It's now going to be a digital quarterly newsletter. It's going to come out officially for the very big first edition. Will be the first of the year, but we'll have one. We'll actually have a special intermediate edition coming out very shortly with the candidates for officers next year. But it's going to be called Surveyor Says, the NSPS newsletter. And it's really going to be kind of a play off of what the old ACSM bulletin was. And we're really hoping to be able to put together the content that is very important to the surveying profession coming from NSPS and other things that are going on as far as what's happening in the CST programs and the TrigStar and what some of the state affiliates are doing. Really want to be able to direct that news to the member and beyond. The newsletter is going to be, obviously it's going to be free. It will be posted on social media and other places for the general public and other non or future NSPS members to find, and hopefully they'll get some benefit out of it. But that's something that's we're very excited about starting to put that together and be able to bring the members and everyone else in the surveying profession and hopefully the future generations of surveyors news and information direct from NSPS throughout the surveying world, the geospatial world. And we'll get into a little bit more of everything that's going on worldwide here shortly. But, like I said, we're really excited about putting some things together. We will be looking for content that if there's some interesting stories and news from the surveying world you'd like to share, please drop us a line at info@nsps.us.com and let's see what we can put together. Other than that, we're looking forward to a pretty exciting election coming up. The slate of candidates is established as of right now. So running for president-elect is Davey Edwards out of Texas, Danny Martinez out of Nebraska, and Steve Gould out of Maine. And then for vice president, we have Matt Morris from Montana, and we have Linda Foster from South Dakota. And also for treasurer, running unopposed is Bob Miller from Pennsylvania. So look for more information coming out soon. We'll have some podcasts with some direct interviews with each of the candidates. We will have the bios and some facts about their campaigns, their goals for NSPS. Like I said, it's going to be in an initial edition of Surveyor Says, the NSPS newsletter. Will be out shortly. And then after that it gets put together, we're actually going to have a town hall for each of the elections. First, we'll do the president-elect, and then we'll do the vice president separately. Just try to keep it broken up just a little bit, but and be mindful of everybody's time. So be looking for more information on that coming up very shortly. But no, all in all, it was a great meeting in Tulsa. Like I said, there's a lot of good energy that came out of it. I think that we're going to see some more things happening. The planning stages are well underway for the spring business meetings back in Arlington, and hopefully we will be back in person for our annual lobby day sessions up on the Hill and within all the legislative offices. We're still working to make sure that we can get in for all of that. And then also, I'd like to also mention that we're knee deep in the planning stages of the FIG Working Week 2023 that we are hosting along with FIG at the Hilton Bonnet Creek in Orlando, Florida, and that's May 28th through June 1st. And then also I should note that we're also going to include an FIG golf outing that's going to benefit both the NSPS PAC and the FIG Foundation on June 2nd. But we'll have a lot more information coming out about that shortly. Registration's being wrapped up now to be able to be published for the general public. We got some great rates on the hotels there. There's going to be a lot of great topics, including, and this is what I really am looking forward to, is going to be a full day session from NGS. And one of the big things coming, obviously out of NGS the last couple of years has been the new datums. And so they're to a point now that they're really going to get some sessions that are going to get into the weeds of what really a dynamic datum is all about, and how important it is to know how to be able to work with these dynamic datums going forward. Because we're adding that component now of time and velocity to all of our coordinates, and the tools that are going to be necessary to be able to establish those coordinate values that really obviously lie at the base of most of the surveying and geospatial data that's being out there. So look for more information on that. It's going to be a great week. A lot of interaction with FIG there. We're going to see a lot of contemporaries from around the world, including a bunch of young surveyors and students. So we're looking forward to that. And so look for that information to be coming out shortly. And like I said, go ahead and look at your calendar and see about thinking about coming down there, because it's going to be a once in a, I'd say it's been 20 years since an FIG working week of any kind has been on the North American soil. Hopefully it's not another 20 years, but it's going to be a pretty big deal, because not having a national conference anymore, we're expecting over 100 vendors, most of our big name vendors that we're used to dealing with. But then there's a lot of small vendors from around the world that have cutting edge technology that unless you come to international shows, you really aren't ever exposed to a lot of these types of technologies. We'll get into that in another segment here shortly about why I'm in Essen, Germany. But we're going to have a lot of that going on in Orlando with the FIG Working Week. So we're looking forward to that. All in all, NSPS domestically has been very, very busy. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of states are holding their annual conferences during these last several weeks. A lot of things happening. Everybody I'm talking to, business is still going quite well in spite of inflation and gas prices and other things going on. Businesses are still we're still clamoring for people, and unfortunately, there's some long deadlines on things, just simply because we've got a lot of stuff going on. So after a long ride back from Tulsa, Oklahoma with the ladies again, and thank goodness, once again, we were able to survive that ride without tying anybody to the hood or the roof of the van. I was able to basically come home for just a little bit, reload the suitcase, and jumped on a plane for Essen, Germany. And so next up is the report from here in Essen for Intergeo, or Intergeo as the locals call it, and everything that's going on with FIG and everybody else in the rest of the world. One of the more interesting facets of my career in the last decade has been my exposure to the international world, and how much the U.S. surveyor doesn't really get an idea of what's happening around the world with our contemporaries and fellow surveyors from around the world. And so I had an opportunity to come to Intergeo in 2017 in Berlin as part of some work I was doing with GPS World. And it was a real big eye-opener to what more is out there for surveying besides what we just see at our our state conferences, what used to be the ACSM, the national conferences, and even some of the high tech vendor conferences that are going on around the U.S. So to come to Intergeo again here in 2022 in Essen, Germany, is a treat. It really has been a treat. Actually, we're wearing a couple of hats here. We're also here with, in my role as executive director, also with at Intergeo with FIG, because we are the local organizing host for the conference in Orlando coming up in 2023. We're here to help publicize and to basically talk to these international vendors that would have an interest to come to Orlando and show the U.S. surveyors and the rest of the world what new technology is out there. And so, in being here and walking the floor of this large conference and talking to a multitude of vendors, it is amazing the amount of technology that's changed even in the 5 years since I was last here. The UAVs obviously have continued to expand in size and shape and configurations and various sensors that are now to be able to put on there, and the multitude of data that can be collected. But what really shocked me this time, because I had an idea that it was out there, but it's really becoming more and more to the forefront, are other modes of remote sensing. More specifically, basically autonomous boats, little vessels that are used for hydrographic bathymetric surveys in a lot more places, obviously, than what a manned boat with a deeper draft can go. And then all of the SLAM technology that is being put together with both handheld and what I hate to say is a backpack, because it looks like an exoskeleton that you actually wear, that is becoming more and more prevalent in a lot of this remote sensing, these procedures and technologies for collecting lots of data. So there's a lot of that stuff going on that like I said, I really hope that we're able to bring some of these vendors to the United States, and that you'll consider attending the FIG Working Week, because it really will be an eye-opener for a lot of the U.S. surveyors that maybe see stuff in some of the magazines from here and there, but it's really futuristic stuff that is here and now, and it really does make the jobs that much easier and that much more detailed to be able to put together. But that was the nice thing about walking this floor and talking to these vendors about coming to the U.S. and being able to exhibit and show some of these technologies, and then also to talk to some of the fellow professionals that are here from around the world, and let them know about our working week coming up, to consider putting together an abstract for a paper to be able to present there. There's a lot of concepts, a lot of ideas on where surveying is going, both with the technologies, both with the cadasters, the legal aspects. There's a lot of good things happening from a lot of strong and interesting minds out there from around the world. So it was really a great opportunity to come here and experience those particular individuals that like I said, we wouldn't normally see at a state or a chapter level within the United States. The other part that was actually was a very big honor to be part of was a handoff from the current FIG president, Rudolf Steiger, who's from here in Germany, to the incoming president of FIG, Diane Dumachet, from the UK. And it was a wonderful, heartfelt ceremony that what Rudolf has been through for the last 4 years as the FIG president, through COVID, having to, he told the story of having to basically pull the plug on the 2020 conference, the working week in Amsterdam, and how they struggled with making that decision. It was really hard to do because people really enjoy coming to these working weeks and the Congress. That pulling the plug on that working week was probably one of the most difficult things he's ever done. And obviously, looking back in retrospect, there was a lot of things that kind of took a back seat in the pandemic, which was fine. But it still doesn't lessen the importance of getting people together and sharing ideas and being able to be around your fellow geospatial colleagues. It was a really big deal. But Rudolph's speech was like I said, was very, very heartfelt. Diane's acceptance was just as easily as excellent. She's got a lot to offer, and really look forward to her presidency and what FIG is going to lead the worldwide surveying community for the next 4 years. So it was really a nice opportunity to be able to be part of the world surveying and geospatial community, and that level of leadership that NSPS does belong with a seat at that table. And like I said, it was a real big honor for me to be able to be part of that. And we were able to make a small presentation to Rudolph on our gratitude for his leadership. And so it was really, really a nice thing to do. Overall, Essen, Germany has been a really neat place to come and see. We were able to take a small tour with some of my fellow surveyors to one of the largest coal mines. It's now defunct, but they've turned it into basically a museum, and really how life in Germany has been for the last 150 years, with a very blue collar town like Essen, with how important the coal mining was to this area for many generations. So to be able to hear that from the local surveyor's perspective and the local historian's perspective was very, very touching as well. So no, all in all, a good trip to Essen, Germany. Trying to get some things wrapped up. We'll be back in the U.S. shortly. We've got a lot more stuff coming up in the next few weeks. Like I said, we'll have the release of the initial Surveyor Says, the NSPS bulletin, featuring the candidates for all of our officers for the next year. We do have several more conferences I'll be speaking at, and a few other people are going to be at state conferences still this fall. We will be exhibiting at Trimble Dimensions the second week of November. We will be there with our FIG information and what's going on with the working week. And we're also partnering with Elaine and Ellie Ball again for Get Kids into Survey. We'll be there with they're releasing a new poster that's going to be coming out in the physical poster. It's going to be along with, if you have a subscription to XYHT magazine, you will get the new poster that's coming out. It'll be shrink wrapped in that poly bag with the new magazine. So be looking for that as well. A lot of stuff coming up. Keep watching the websites, keep watching the socials. And if you have any questions for us, let us know. My information's on the website. I mean, it's out in the socials, or give us drop us a line at info@nsps.us.com. And we look forward to hearing from you soon. Hit that like button wherever you can. Subscribe to the podcast, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Surveyor Says podcast, brought to you by the National Society of Professional Surveyors. If you have any questions about today's episode or any other topic, please email us at info@nsps.us.com, and we are here to help. Visit our website, nsps.us.com, to learn more about our association, the programs we administer and support, our sustaining members, and information about future episodes of Surveyor Says. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify, as well as our podcast host, Podbean. And remember, it's a great day to be a surveyor.